Direct and indirect questions in English from espressoenglish.net. Direct questions are the normal questions that we can ask friends, family members, and people who we know well. For example, where is the bathroom? Indirect questions are a little more formal and polite. We use them when talking to a person we don't know very well, or in professional situations. For example, could you tell me where the bathroom is? Here are some common phrases used for indirect questions. Could you tell me? Do you know? I was wondering. Do you have any idea? I'd like to know. Would it be possible? Is there any chance? There are a few grammatical changes with indirect questions. Let's look at some examples. Direct. Where is Market Street? Indirect. Could you tell me where Market Street is? In indirect questions, forms of the verb to be come after the subject. Direct. What time does the bank open? Indirect. Do you know what time the bank opens? In indirect questions, we don't use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did. And notice that the word open in the direct question becomes opens in the indirect question. Here's another example, this time in the past. Direct. Why did you move to Europe? Indirect. I was wondering why you moved to Europe. Again, we don't use the auxiliary verb did. And did you move in the direct question becomes you moved in the indirect question. Here's one in the present perfect. Direct. How has he managed to get in shape so quickly? Indirect. Do you have any idea how he's managed to get in shape so quickly? In indirect questions in the present perfect, the auxiliary verb has or have is moved to after the subject. Direct. How much does this motorcycle cost? Indirect. I'd like to know how much this motorcycle costs. Again, in indirect questions, we don't use the auxiliary verb does. Also, cost becomes costs. You can see that this indirect question is not even really a question. It is more of a statement that invites the other person to answer. Direct. Can you finish the project by tomorrow? Indirect. Would it be possible for you to finish the project by tomorrow? For direct questions with can, we can use would it be possible in the indirect question. Direct. Can we change the meeting to Thursday? Indirect. Is there any chance we could change the meeting to Thursday? Is there any chance is another option for forming indirect questions with can. If the direct question is a yes or no question, meaning it has no question word such as what, who, when, where, why, or how, then the indirect question will have if. Let's look at some examples. Direct. Does Tom like Italian food? Indirect. Do you know if Tom likes Italian food? Direct. Are your parents joining us for dinner? Indirect. Could you tell me if your parents are joining us for dinner? Direct. Do they speak English? Indirect. I was wondering if they speak English. Direct. Has Barbara ever studied abroad? Indirect. Do you have any idea if Barbara's ever studied abroad? Direct. Do you plan on traveling this summer? Indirect. I'd like to know if you plan on traveling this summer. If you want to learn more about English grammar, check out my Advanced English Grammar course. It contains 45 lessons with clear and detailed explanations, as well as quizzes and writing tasks with teacher feedback. Click on the link in the video for more information.